If you're a married couple thinking about setting up a trust, you want to think top level between the two of you. What I mean by that is what would be the reasons for setting up the trust? And then from there, all the various ideas in regard to trust planning will flow. So I have a trust checklist, and you can use this checklist just really as a way to start brainstorming between the two of you and get some initial thoughts out. And then from there, go to your estate planning attorney and get all the appropriate arrangements in place. You're going to be thinking about who is setting up the trust. Is it one or both of you? What are the goals behind setting up the trust? And therefore, do you need a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust? What assets would fund the trust? Who else may add to the trust? Who should be the trustee or trustees initially? What happens when a trustee cannot act? Who can appoint a successor trustee? What happens during your lives and also upon your passing? Who should benefit from the trust, both with income distributions and principal distributions? How should the trust be taxed during your lives? Upon your passing, we know that the trust cannot use your social security numbers. So upon both of you passing, that's when a tax ID number would necessarily be obtained. Prior to that, there'll be a discussion as far as whether it's going to be the social security number of one of you or a separate tax ID number. And then we're going to talk about various tax planning opportunities in regard to a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust. We're going to talk about the assets that would fund the trust and what makes sense in regard to the type of trust that you're thinking about setting up, because some assets are not really meant for an irrevocable trust considering your goals, and some assets are not meant for a revocable trust considering your goals. So everything will start coming together when you can think top level as far as the goals that you may have, talking through that together as a married couple, having some initial information, and then taking that to your estate planning attorney to take the next steps. Trust planning can be so incredibly beneficial. And if you're at all interested in it, you really need to start at least getting some ideas out about why it can be helpful in your situation. Everybody is different. It's not just about assets. It's about everything else that affects you. You could have other people you intend to benefit, whether it's children or grandchildren or charities. And it's so helpful to start planning proactively before there are problems. I see lots of problems with power of attorney documents causing grief between family members and finger pointing and blame. And then we've got ruined relationships and so on. A trust can really be a great way to plan for the future and make a lot of sense, both with the assets themselves and the people involved. Getting in front of everything is what's most important. And as a married couple, of course, you want to be on the same page. So take the checklist, get some thoughts out, and then take the next steps in your estate planning matters. This is Ruth George with Ruth P. George Law, PLLC, Trust and Estate Attorney. This video, as with any video I do put out, is for educational purposes only. It does not establish an attorney-client relationship, and I look forward to seeing you on another video.